Warm Audio is collaborating with a cult favorite guitar effects pedal company, Dirty Boy, and releasing 3 pedals, a fuzz, a boost, and an overdrive. Now, Dirty Boy has been around for a long time, originally created by Alex Saraceno, who was making pedals for his son, Blue Saraceno, the guitar player for Poison, and they wound up being used by many other guitar players, including John Frusciante and Phil X, eventually taken over by Danny Gomez, and the company is very, very forward-thinking. Now, that's reflected in these pedals. You might be kind of saying like, okay, a fuzz, a boost, and an overdrive, how many of those do we need? These actually have some really cool features that do make them stand apart from others in their functionality. Their tone is great, but also their functionality gives a lot that you might not expect. So we're going to dive right in, and we're going to start with the fuzz. Now you notice that this fuzz has 3 controls. It has fuzz, level, and frequency. Now obviously fuzz and level, that's pretty standard. Frequency is where this one gets really interesting. It's actually a 6-way rotary dial. It's not a kind of clean sweep knob. And what that does is it gives you notches at different frequencies. But what's really interesting is that it sort of reshapes the voice of the fuzz in a way that kind of, to my ear at least, emulates various different vintage fuzz pedals. So if you've got it way over to the left and it's kind of darker and a little woofier, you're sort of in that fuzz face territory. The more bite and treble you introduce to it as you roll over, you get up to some kind of tone bender territory, and then even into like buzz around or fuzz right kind of sounds. Dead ringers, no, it's not really like a clone. That's not it, but it gets certainly, as we say, close enough for jazz. Really versatile in a very simplistic way. So let's dive back in on the fuzz and listen to all of the different frequency settings and what they offer. Now, likewise, the boost is equally as versatile and can also kind of substitute or emulate some very, very classic pedals. So you see the Boost also has drive, bass, treble, and it has a frequency knob as well. Now that is a three-way with high, middle, and low. You can get that big, powerful, fat, woofy punchiness if you want, especially for playing into a small tube amp. In the middle, that's kind of where I think most people's bread and butter is going to be. I think that's your standard Boost sound. This will give you up to 10 dB of boost as well, so it's got a lot of volume on tap. The high setting, that's what I think is really cool, because that sounds to me very much like a treble booster. All right, now lastly, we're going to go to the Overdrive. Now I want to say up front, first of all, this is the most unique and the most versatile of all of them. That being said, I'm actually not sure Overdrive was the right term for this pedal. This is more of an amp in a box or a distortion type pedal. Overdrive, it's not. I wouldn't say it's nothing like a Tube Screamer or a Centaur or Blues Breaker or anything like that. To me, it sounds a lot more like a Marshall stack in a box. It's got way more of that drive. It definitely, to my ear, has that kind of British stack character. This one has a few different things that make it extremely unique. First of all, you have a variac control, and the variac control introduces some sag, some compression, or pulls it back, and it can actually do kind of that starved voltage sort of sound, which gets into more fuzz territory. But there's two outputs for this pedal. There's preamp out. Now, if you're using it as a standard pedal, that's the one that you're going to use. You're going to use the preamp out on your board. But there's also emu out, EMU out, emu, but no, it's not actually for birds. What that is the emulated out. This actually has a speaker emulated line out so that you can use this direct into a sound system, direct into a DAW, and the speaker emulation is that of a 412 cab loaded with greenbacks. So this truly is an amp in a box kind of pedal, and it sounds really good if you're recording direct in, which I want to share with you a sample of right now. Now that also uses their tube amp emulation technology, which is something that they came up with on their own. And again, you know, a lot of gain on this one, a lot of heavy. I wouldn't call it an overdrive. This is an amp in a box. This is like if you want a Marshall stack in a small pedal enclosure. But to me, the versatility of having a pedal that you can have and use on your pedal board, but then if something happens to your amplifier, you just pop the cable into the other output and you can go direct into a PA. That is got a ton of value just on its own. So these are three really cool pedals. And again, this is direct collaboration with Dirty Boy Pedals. Obviously, Warm Audio kind of established a reputation for making really high-end clones of things, of which I've reviewed a number of them on the channel, and I'm going to be doing several more coming up. These are not clones. These are actually, Dirty Boy Pedals decided to work through Warm Audio to get these pedals out to the world. And I think, again, I like that there's still a way that you can take a fuzz, a boost, and an overdrive and introduce something new, something versatile, something that sets it apart. I do want to say thank you to Warm Audio for reaching out to me. They asked me if I would help them with this launch, and that's something that I'm always thrilled about. And again, especially when it's something that actually offers something to the guitar market as opposed to just another this, another that. I think these are really cool. So I am going to link below to where you can check these pedals out. Let us know what you think in the comments. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.